Hello, man. It's Steve at the Deep Surface Podcast. How you doing today, guys?
I'm wonderful.
Great, doing good.
Man, we were talking before we get I don't know if we want to revisit that conversation.
Let's move on from that, bro.
Yo, bro, you have been stucky. But, man, listen, man, I'm glad everybody here today, man. We just, we're glad to be back here, Keegan, man. Being before you guys once again, humble as we can be. Man, and just I'm so thankful, man, to be able to have the opportunity to do something that you love, man. Here's one thing I want to tell anybody, man. Find something that you love. It doesn't matter how big, no matter how small, no matter what it is, no matter how far it is to get to your destiny, find something you love to do, Ivan.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to, man.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing being able to do this because I love it. Yeah. I crave it.
When it's something that you love to do, you never have to be paid for it. And when you love to do it, and if you do it well and you're passionate about it, it's automatically going to bring in everything that you need.
True.
So, yeah, you got to love it. You got to love it.
Finding that, because that's what life is about, Keegan. Mm-hmm. Life is really about finding acceptance in something that you can execute your gift in. Mm-hmm. Finding love in something, man, and being able to be excellent at what you do. And being present while you're doing, because that's what love. You're present. Like I'm not skipping past the moment. This moment right here is the moment that I'm living in right now. Yeah. Everything else outside of this is going to be what it's going to be. But man, when you truly find something, Keegan, that you love, man, I think that you dive into it.
Yes, you do.
Head first. You don't allow anything. You don't even allow yourself to dissuade you from doing the thing that you love, man. And I'm a witness, Keegan. I called you during the pandemic in the garage wondering, and the Deep Surface came about. And, it was a thought. Mm-hmm. Everything is a thought.
Mm-hmm. That's
Imagine
where it starts.
that.
That's where it starts.
It starts right here. Mm-hmm. It was a thought. And it was an idea. Mm-hmm. And think about it. Whenever you have your first thought to where you're trying to place your destiny, sometimes it can take years for that thought to manifest into reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
The minute you think about something, the enemy coming. The minute that you think the thought that you were born to think. See, this was the thought that I was born to think anyway, Ivan. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to think about the Deep Surface at the time I thought it. But as soon as I did that, hell said, let me break on loose. Mm-hmm. Let me break on loose in your life. Mm-hmm. Let me make sure that you're so distractions. Let me make sure that you're so off kilter with other things that's not a part of your purpose. Because that's what really happens when people are navigating their purpose, Keegan. Distractions come.
They do.
The unexpected comes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now you're in a place where, Keegan, you got to heal. Mm-hmm. Because all these distractions has wounded you, has put you into a place of adversity. Now you're fighting unnecessary battles. But we're going to talk about that later. Because we want to talk tonight, man, just about the unexpected. We want to talk about the art of healing, what it looks like, the process of healing, because it's an art to everything that happens in our world. But before we do that, guys, we want to go to one of my favorite segments, and that's the corner.
Yeah.
That's the corner, man. I want to bring that to you because we want to be pragmatic in everything we do, and we know the importance of what it means to take care of the main thing, and the foundation of that is taking care of your finances, and just making sure your loved ones are taken care of properly. It ain't about the amount. We always talk about that. It's about how you treat what you got.
No question.
So Keegan, I'm gonna turn it over to you, my guy, before we get going.
Yeah, man, stewardship. So I want to talk about the last time we talked about the corner. We talked about inflation,
absolutely,
and how it impacted real estate costs and rental prices. But inflation is still here, Ivan, so you got to talk about it, right? So we're going to talk about how it's impacting insurance.
Okay.
Both auto insurance, home insurance, commercial insurance for small business owners, because folks don't realize right now if you drive by any car lot, there are no new vehicles on the lot.
I didn't realize that either.
Check it out. When you ride by, there's no new vehicles on the lot outside. They're pretty much empty. And the reason being is they can't get new cars in. Metal is going up. They can't find sensors because of supply chain issues and as well as cost. The prices on new vehicles are about 40% higher than they were last year. On used cars, about 20% higher than it was last year. But the critical thing is, what does it do to your insurance? Every insurance carrier right now, every last one of them are taking rate increases.
Wow.
Why? Because the cost to repair a vehicle is about 12 to 15% higher today than it was last year, right? You have to pay for that. And so with new cars being 40% higher than it was last year and used cars being 20% higher than last year, they got to pay for that when that car gets wrecked.
Wow.
Get into an accident.
Wow.
They got to pay for that. That means they got to charge you a higher premium.
Yes, sir.
So it's impacting your auto insurance from a physical damage perspective. I was talking to a client last week in prep for this show, and they have a glass company. They're glass. They sell glass to home builders as well as to auto repair shops. They have seen increases on glass over the past 2 years, 8 times. Past year, 4 times. Each time, it's been between 10 to 12% rate hikes in the increased price on glass.
That's a lot.
That is.
Now think about how often you get a glass claim, Safe Flight. Right?
Safe Flight, replace. That's how the commercial goes.
Exactly. Exactly. But what is that? That impacts your insurance.
It does.
Right? Fenders used to cost $1,000 to repair, $2,000 to repair. Now they're about $8,000. Why? Metal and sensors.
Supply chain different.
Yeah. And so now that's impacting your car insurance. And so I would tell people all the time, right now with car insurance, you're going to see a rate increase at your renewal on your insurance policy. Whether you had an accident or not does not matter. So don't call your agent talking about, I had no tickets, I had no accident. It doesn't matter. Everyone's getting rate right now. It's part of the particular market. What I would suggest to you is shop the market. If you have an independent agent, have them shop the market for you for the best price and best product. If you're with like a captive carrier like State Farm or Allstate, call someone else and get a quote from another carrier. All carriers are good at what they do as long as they're A-rated. So shop the market, find you the best price and best product for what you're paying for right now, because you want to keep your coverage and you want to have good coverage. But to just pay more for just paying more is just not smart, right? Yeah. But everyone's getting hit in the pocket in the auto insurance world. Homeowners insurance, same thing. Wood, pricing is out of the world. Glass, out of the world. You have a claim on your home, water damage, painting, all that stuff is costing more money. It's affecting your insurance, right? So I will tell people all the time, shop the market, but also if you have a claim, it's affordable, pay out of your pocket, pay it out of your pocket. Don't submit the claim. If it's on your deductible, it's not going to mess with your deductible. But if it's over your deductible, if you can afford it, don't submit the claim. Practice some risk management. Take care of the claim yourself. Don't look at insurance as a maintenance policy, because it's not. You will pay on the back end. Trust me on that when we submit these claims. But I'm telling you right now, the market is increasing at a dramatic rate. Every insurance carrier is increasing rates. You have to keep pace with the cost of repair work. Not only cost, time. Because you can't get vehicles in it because of metal, we're seeing rental cars being kept for more than 30 days. In your policy, you got a 30-day period to keep a rental car, to get your car repaired. It's going past that right now. At 30 days, you come out of pocket.
Wow.
Right? So now I would tell people all the time, try to keep money in your emergency fund for deductible payments, for insurance issues, for your own self-insurance, is because it is happening right now. I had a client, I got a commercial client right now. They do some, they have a landscape wholesale and retail business. They sell like mulch, rocks, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But they do a lot of deliveries and pickup with dump trucks. They had a claim with a dump truck. That truck was in the shop for 11 months.
Wow.
Off for 11 months. You want to know why?
A lot of time out of operation.
Because they could not find the sensors for the truck. And when they found the sensors, they was about 40% higher than what they were last year.
That's crazy.
And now the cost of the insurance carrier was not only repairing that trunk at a higher rate, paying the rental car, or the rental costs for them they had to actually rent while that car was in the shop. That's going to impact your insurance rates going forward. It's what we're dealing with right now with inflation. So inflation is affecting insurance, for auto insurance, for commercial insurance, for home insurance. We have to get better at how we handle our own emergency funds to take care of this kind of stuff, because we will come out of the pocket a little bit more than we were before because of what's going on in the market right now. But yeah, insurance is going to start going up. If you haven't seen it already, you will see it. Do not get surprised. It's part of the inflation that's impacting the market right now. Just be a little bit more judicious with how you work with your agent. Have them shop the market for you. Try to find you better pricing with quality carriers, because it is out there. But everyone is taking rate. It ain't just one carrier. It ain't just your carrier. So everyone's taking rate. So whether you have an accident, violation does not matter. If you had those things, probably going to see a little bit more increase than anybody else is as well. But it is going on across the entire industry.
That boy good.
Yeah.
Well,
that boy good.
Well, call me too, by the way.
Yeah,
but,
I would like to say,
and
you
if
keep saying your carrier.
Yeah, DM,
say you.
DM something. We'll take care of you. DM,
And if I could add any plug at all, Keegan happens to be my insurance agent. Yeah. And he put me on a 12-month policy versus a 6-month policy, which locked me into a rate that keeps me from actually experiencing this hike that's coming up. So he got all the tools to the game.
That's a great point, Ivan. So I would tell people too, if you can have your agent rewrite you a 12-month policy, it is so important, because carriers take rate. They increase their rates twice a year to catch each 6-month renewal, right? So get to a 12-month policy, you're locked in. You're not going to catch that single or that 2-time increase during the year. Get into a 12-month policy. I put everybody in 12 months, because to that point, you're only getting hit once if you're going to get hit. So it's a very important point, because you brought it up, Ivan. 12-month policies versus 6-month policies. Yes, look into them. But yeah, I want to share that with the people.
That's good, bro.
Perspective, bro.
That's good. Yeah. Man, you're a good human, Keegan.
I'm trying.
You're trying to be a good human, man. Because that's information.
Yeah.
That you can charge.
Yeah.
People don't realize that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's valuable information that people just won't walk up and tell you.
And it's an unavoidable expense.
That's the thing.
That's good.
I'm not talking about buying something you're not already paying for.
Right.
There you go.
It's part of your budget right now, because you got to have it. Right. So how do you handle it the best way you possibly can handle it is the most important thing. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You got more questions from me? DM us Deep Surface Pod. I'll take care of that question for you as well. But looking to get a 12-month policy versus a 6-month policy.
Man, listen. So speaking of policy, I think Mike Tyson might need a policy. But, it speaks to – so Mike Tyson, by the time people see this, they're going to already see the story. But Mike Tyson today was harassed by a young man on the bus. I mean, on the plane. Mike Tyson shook his hand and talked to him, I think, obviously. And then the guy just kept going. And Mike Tyson, rat-a-tat-tat-tat, gave him hands, and obviously he's gonna get sued, But I want to talk about this for a second. What does that say to us about who we are as human beings? Fundamentally, like, think about it. Let's dive to the crevices of our soul. For you to sit down, this was planned. Mm-hmm. You see a man, he's not bothering you at all. In fact, you got admiration. Then you turn that admiration to what we call opportunity. Mm-hmm. And you harass him until he physically has to put his hands on you because you're disrespecting him at a rate. What does that say to us? Because even though they did it, that's the American way to do something so you can sue somebody. Mm-hmm. We've accepted that practice. That's a practice that we look at and we're like, we know what you're gonna do from that. People saying online, I would have took that hit. Yeah. But Keegan, that shows we're devolving. Not everybody, but just to even have that evil thought to get a man to hit you, take him to court, play the victim, and then take from his family. Mm-hmm. See, that's what we're missing in all of this. He has a wife. He has children. He has children. He has a structure that he's trying to build for, and you're just going to take from him. That's not an individual thing. That's a collective thing. Because in America, that's how we operate sometimes. And I when I seen that, I was like, wow, I just felt sad for that. Go ahead, Ivan.
A couple things. If that had been Stone Cold Steve Austin, if that had been Stone Cold Steve Austin, first of all, would they have even heckled him or even attempted to get his autograph? And would they have pushed the needle that far? The fact is that you've seen this man and you pull some Hangover mess with him as if that's not a movie.
Come on.
And then you harass him on purpose in order for you to actually get something out of that man. That's not fair. That man, and you know what? I really hope, however this goes down, and unfortunately because of Mike Tyson and who he is, we know he's probably going to have to feel the brunt of this regardless because his hands are registered.
Absolutely.
But we have to get out of the place of dehumanizing people and just putting them in position of you can do whatever you want to. You should not have the right to be able to harass them. I mean, where were the flight attendants?
Mm-hmm. What was his security?
Where was his security? Why was he on a commercial flight?
Go ahead.
I mean, you know, and to have no security, no flight attendant ever stepped in. Do we ever hear a flight attendant ever step in at any point in time?
Because I seen just Mike Tyson just.
I mean, he was just punishing him.
But let's make sure we tell the full story. So he did fellowship with the guy.
That's what I'm saying. He took a
selfie with him.
Yeah,
he
did
talked
all
to him
that.
the whole night, and the guy just kept coming. They said the guy was intoxicated. But I think, to your point, Ivan, I believe there's witnesses that said this is what happened. It eventually got to that point, but they said he did everything the man asked him to do. Right? He just kept bothering him. You know, and so I think because he has witnesses going to say this is what happened, I don't think he's going to get the full brunt of what a lawsuit would mean. He just hit him just because.
But the fact that, but what I'm really focusing on, not what's going to be the outcome, but the actual act of you coercing or conjuring up what you were doing to take something from a man that did nothing to you.
So I think people in society look at celebrities a certain way.
They do.
Right? So they look at it from an opportunistic perspective. And we live in what's called a litigious society, right? So litigation is the pathway to success sometimes.
It is.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
If you understand how to utilize the law and you can afford lawyers, and they are people who got their hand do this for a living, you can get somewhere with that. You got to be a little bit smarter and not let people pull you. Maybe you use
Robin Givens.
Hey, look, come over here and help me out. This is because this guy's bothering me. Maybe call somebody over. I'm not saying that Mike Tyson was right or wrong. What I'm saying is, as a celebrity, you do get victimized.
Robin Givens.
Yeah. And you get dehumanized because people don't think about the fact that you are a person too. Right? Can I just have a moment to myself? Even on celebrity, right?
Yeah.
And I think we forget that, whether it's an actor or an athlete, a music artist, whoever that might be, or even a politician. You know, we just think we can just do what they want to do because they're celebrities. Right. But I believe that because we live in this particular society, we have to figure out how to navigate it.
Ignorant people do that because if I don't care what celebrity I see, I don't care how big they are, I'm not acting any type of way.
You're not. But
I know.
You're not the
and I'm not no better than what I'm
right?
saying is that's why I'm saying we have to be better as a society because that's what I'm saying. This speaks to a larger this speaks to something larger why we have to carry firearms all the time. Like you gotta think about it. I don't go nowhere without my firearm.
Me neither.
In fact, you running here now, you gonna have a problem.
You're gonna have a problem.
You're gonna have a real issue if you running here now.
Yes.
It's not that I'm hard, it's not that I'm a gangster, it's none of that stuff
No,
right
that's
there.
for protection.
But it just
That's
we
for
feel
protection.
like from our own fellow man, Ivan, our own, the people who look like us and walk on two legs like us and talk like us, we gotta fear them.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially when you are a celebrity. I would not have had a care in the world because he wouldn't do me like that. I'm not a celebrity, but Tyson is. Yeah. And to your point, Ivan, of course, I got to ask Tyson is, why are you on a commercial flight, not private or charter, and where's your security? Or where's your manager or somebody to say, hey, look, bro, back up before I put my hands on you.
Right.
Not
somebody that stands in that gap.
It's amazing.
You gotta have a layer.
Yeah.
You gotta
because
have
he
a
should
layer.
not be allowed to do that.
Yeah, you gotta have a layer.
He should not be allowed. And that's one of my biggest concerns. Where is your buffer?
Yeah, you gotta have a
You're
layer.
Mike
Yeah.
Tyson.
You're still one of the most famous men in the world.
In the world right now. And by the way, he actually kicks a lot of good words of wisdom.
Man, Mike Tyson is, listen, bro, all the stuff he done been through, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, bro,
That's a
struggle.
fact. That's a
Listen,
fact.
struggle can create wisdom if you listen hard enough.
Yes, it does.
And the thing is, it's like you have no buffer. Okay, and the fact that you have no buffer, but you also have a flight crew that is trained to manage that flight. I've worked for the airline.
Yeah.
You have a flight crew that is there supposed to manage that, to manage the passengers. And so I feel like so many people dropped the ball.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It was one of those, I think, things that just kind of had to happen. Just the right ingredient, the right time for the explosion. One of those
And I wasn't the fly on the wall, but I got the feeling the guy was not loud. He wasn't boisterous. He was probably because he was sitting right behind him. Probably just talking to him in the ear, calm, low key, but just kept doing it and kept doing
Now
it.
he was wilding too, because I seen it on Twitter.
Okay.
He was talking like,
He was loud,
jumping up and down, like he was making it known, because it looks like the person who was filming him was with him. So I'm not sure. That's why I'm saying, like, you thought of this, like you planned it
Gotcha.
out. It was motive involved in this, and that's why I'm saying we gotta actually examine. Like, I had to examine myself as a human, because I'm not as clean as we did the same dirt, because I maybe didn't do that. No,
I ain't let you do that.
let me
Go
say
ahead.
this. I may not have done that, but I did something else. What I'm saying is it just made me look at my own humanity and say, where am I in the levels? I may not go to that point, but there's places that I do go as a human and say, hey, what am I doing here? How do I get better in this area? Why do I have so much motive? Like, because before I castigate anybody for any action they do, I just got to make sure that whatever is in me that I examine first.
I feel you
that's
on
all I'm
that.
saying.
I feel you on that. I think we all have bad behavior in our characteristics, right?
Absolutely.
As people, I get that. We're born into sin and iniquity. I get that. But there are some things I'm just not going to do.
Of course, yeah, of course,
Right?
yeah, of course.
And so I can't say I'm better than that.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. I can't say I'm better than that, right? And I think that you are better than that. That's why you find, like, who would do this? And why would you do it? Well, you know why.
Well,
They
and
want to check.
and to that point, Keegan, what I was going to say is the culprit always looks the same. I mean, nah.
Come on, if you gonna do it, do it.
The elephant in the room. The culprit always looks the same.
Come on now.
Okay.
And so when you are a Trump tonight and you're looking to be an opportunist, you learned America. We talked about this some weeks ago. America, why are you so violent?
Yeah.
Come on.
Because
come on.
what was your goal?
Come on.
What was your real goal?
Come on.
I mean, you're posting on social media. You have this recorded. You wasn't there for a good time and to shake hands with Mike Tyson. You were there to see if you can daggone set the rest of your life up. And we got to stop allowing the culprit to do. And it's not fair to Mike Tyson. Look, he should not have stepped out of line to do that. But it's not fair for him to have to put up with that.
That's true.
I
don't
mean,
appreciate all that.
Russell Westbrook, Ron Artest let you know he wasn't having it. All of these other guys, all these other examples that we've had over the past couple decades, and we see the culprits are always the same. When are we going to see this culprit actually pay the price?
That's a fair point. 'Cause you look at some basketball games when guys get
that's
heckled,
good.
when players get heckled with fans. If Kyrie, if I stick give middle finger up to the crowd, I'm getting fined.
Right.
But they can say whatever they want to say.
That's facts.
until
Come on.
you
Come on, Keegan.
kick them out. So I agree with you on that, Ivan. I'm with you all day long. At some point in time, the culprit, no matter what we're looking at, has to be held accountable to some degree. I'm with you.
I mean, no flight list. I mean, the no fly list. And I mean, because we can't keep allowing to just this to just happen. I mean, O.J. Simpson has had so many different issues with this exact same type of thing. And so we can't just keep allowing this to just keep happening to these men and women who are trying to mind their own business.
That's true. And I do, and I'm with you. So I'm not in any way trying to say that Mike Tyson deserved what he got. I'm not saying that. I just know that given the climate, I can't be put in that position. I just can't. You got to have a layer. You have to travel in a way that lets you know that I'm not going to be around those kind of people, because you know they're out there. They're out there. They're waiting to do this kind of thing. So it's unfortunate. It really is. But I think they all will learn from it. I think Mike will learn to say, you know what, I'm traveling different going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plain and simple.
And I would hope somebody from his team right now is saying, Mike, we should not have let you be by yourself. Because, I mean, you know.
They let him down.
Yeah.
They let him down.
And because when you are a person of that stature, I can imagine you feel real naked when you're out there because of stuff just like this.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Just like this, just the ulterior motive, the person pretending to be. And that's the theme that has been, that I think a lot of black people have with, white supremacists or white supremacy in general or white privilege in general. It's this, this coddling up to me to have an ulterior motive. Be straight with me. If you want that smoke from the beginning, just let's go ahead and go get it out the way.
Right.
The deception is the problem. That's the problem that we have. And you're talking about with the culprit. Why do you keep bothering us? Why does my magnificence bother you? Why does who I am bother you? What, if I'm less than you, if you're better, then why do you bother me?
Right.
If you're smarter, why are you bothering me? If you think I'm just your show animal, you're a mandingo, why are you bothering me?
Yeah.
Right.
There's something that I have that you're looking for. Just ask.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's uncomfortable when something's better than you. I'm not saying we're better. I'm just saying we're different.
Yeah.
We different. We walk different. We walk stronger. Our ancestors, we different. The men up here now, you can't fool us no more. We're intelligent. We're smart. We're intuitive.
That's why I even said the culprit always the same, because we're doing stuff like that.
Absolutely.
We're not doing
here
stuff like that.
You know what I mean? You got to understand. I want to say this about white privilege. It's just, listen, white privilege what we're saying is, we don't think that your life has been any easier as an individual. We just say that your color hasn't prohibited you from doing anything. See, your skin hasn't stopped your progress. Mine's has.
Or your skin has not brought on castigation.
Absolutely.
It has not brought on discrimination. It's not, no matter what you might want to say about reverse discrimination, I'm rolling my eyes by saying that, it's not brought on this kind of thing. So to your point, privilege does not understand this type of thing.
Yeah. That's what it really is.
That's
privilege.
all it is.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
felt like he could do the world was his playground. It was his oyster.
Yeah.
This is a show animal. If you want to get down to the nuts and bolts,
Right, absolutely.
Mike Tyson was a show animal for him. So he felt like I could do this shit. Excuse my language, mama. I'll never say it again.
And Steve said it, not Kiki, just being clear.
I'm sorry, mama. I'm sorry. But that's what I need my beautiful white people to understand, that when black folks are telling you something, it's not because we're being mean or we're angry about the past. We're just trying to get you to respect us as human beings.
Absolutely.
You don't do that to us.
I've been asked so many questions when I board a flight and I'm sitting in first class. I'm serious. This one dude had a whole conversation with me on a flight back from Miami, talking about, like the world's changing, like so much of my family is mixed, and trying to show me pictures and stuff. Bro, I don't care.
We don't. We're standing in our power. We do not care at all. Like this whole entire, what we're doing now, it's not to say how bad you did us and how bad you did us. We're not doing that. We're talking about understanding knowledge of self. We have no problems. So listen, if we're not bothering you, leave us alone.
Right.
Leave us alone. What I mean is, I love everybody. I want to be a part of everything. White people, black people, Indian people. It doesn't matter. I love all humans. I'm for human interaction. But particularly, leave us alone.
Yes.
Well, they won't, and I'll tell you why. When you're used to privilege and power, equality feels like oppression. And so, and I heard Joy Reid say that from MSNBC. So when you're used to being in a position of privilege and power, whenever you start seeing somebody equate to you based on accomplishment, success, or acknowledgement, you feel like you're being oppressed because you're not used to this person being equal to you. You think if I think you're a show animal or a mandingo, you can't sit at my table. But now I can and I do. And you're like, whoa, I must, like you said earlier, I must have regressed. I got to check this. I can't have this because you're not my equal. And that's in the psyche. I'm not saying every white person,
because every white person is not.
I'm not
It's the
saying
culture.
that. But there's a
It's white
philosophy.
inundation.
It's a psyche in it.
It's inundation. It's the privilege to be able to move around and say what you want to say when you want to say it. Like you listen, Brett. Listen, give us the space. If we want to interact, if we want to tell you how we're feeling, we will.
Right.
And if we tell you how we're feeling, just listen to us.
Just listen.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what everything we talk about. You know, we don't just. Here's my thing, man. When I watched that video, it made my heart drop because Mike Tyson has a family. I have a family. I'm not Mike Tyson. I'll never be Mike Tyson. But what I'm saying is, I thought about him as a human, not as some celebrity, but he was a human.
Yeah.
And it's often, a lot of their celebrities get to be humans.
Yeah.
And act out loud and be okay, and they're just going through it. But all of ours get put on TMZ all the time. It's always our own slot of ours, and it's incumbent upon us to take care of our own.
True.
Yes.
To take care
Absolutely.
of our own. I don't care if they're at the top of the mountain or at the bottom of the valley. We take care of our own. And again, let me say this before we talk about anything else. I love everybody. I have love for everybody, but we're protecting black folks. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I'm protecting my folks. And whatever I can do to protect my folks, because my folks have been done wrong for a long time, I'm being honest.
I'll be honest, Steve. I'm tired of giving a disclaimer.
Me too.
I am.
I did it, but I don't want to give it no more. If I'm being honest,
and I respect.
I want to keep it a band.
I respect
You
it,
got
but
me on that one.
I get tired of having to give a disclaimer because you guys don't ever have to give a disclaimer.
Right.
You never did it.
Ever.
You never did it.
You just called me that word.
Yeah, just because, and still do, and so I don't have to say I love everyone to say I love Ivan.
Come on, that's good.
And the reality is, pro-black is not synonymous to anti-white. It's not. It's not. So if you think that, you have the problem, not me.
At 417 years of oppression, of course we're angry. But sin not. We're intelligent. We're smart. We know what we are. You don't think in those 417 years we were being taught, we were being educated, we were learning about who we were? You underestimated us, and it's okay. It's okay. We all do. And the powers that be have lied to those that live around us. You're better. Your water's colder. And now when you have to walk up on somebody like me or Ivan or Keegan or Tim, and there ain't no racism or no white only signs, and you got to deal with the reality that you standing in front of a goat.
And that your water
That's
is
a
not,
real reality.
that their waters we actually got colder water.
Yeah, we do. Wetter water.
Wetter water.
I ain't even mean to do all this tonight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't mean to say all this tonight, Ivan. I didn't.
And you know, I honestly think this is why we are seeing so many of these different things pop up right now. Because they're coming into a realization that, you know what? We did everything we could.
It was a
Made
lie.
sure that and there's still so many things that work in your favor when it comes to the litigation system. And we're still being able to make a way.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
It is.
Think about it. If we were in a place of superiority and you know that something behind you is coming that you've always feared, wouldn't you start looking? I mean that's what's happening now. And the problem is, instead of actually just getting to the point of, hey, let some things go, you think you're gonna turn up the heat. No, we're just gonna keep getting better.
True.
I mean, what did Shadrach, and Abednego gonna do? They started dancing.
Yeah.
You turn up the fire, they got, so all I'm saying is it's not gonna do nothing but keep making us better.
That's true.
And I think, for us, I think that's the goal. I think the responsibility for us is to, we don't point out anymore.
Nah. There's no need.
Let's stop pointing out.
There's no need.
I don't care what they're doing.
Right.
I don't care what they're saying. They is anybody who's in contrast with the advancement of the black culture. I don't care what color. I don't care if you're black.
Right.
And to our culture to move forward and our children to have a better life than we had.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, and I think, fear always sets in because karma's real. That karma can eat at you. When you know you didn't enslave somebody for that long, when you know you've treated somebody below the standard that you should have, of course you're going to be scared.
Hey, man,
of course you're going to.
Because the universe don't respect.
Come on.
Universal law is universal law.
It is. It's going to act accordingly.
It's going to act accordingly. The energy that you put out is the energy you're going to get.
Yeah.
Man. I still love everybody though. I do. That just me. I just love everybody. I love it because I've always said this. There's a difference. Let me differentiate. There's a difference between white people and white persons. There's individuals. There's people I love. I got white people in my family. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the attitude, the aura, the privilege is when you activate it.
Yeah,
and every white person knows they can activate that. Yeah. All I'm saying is you don't have to do that no more. You don't have to. We don't care. All we want to do is live in peace. Our ancestors, the people, 417 years to make you want to be alone.
Yeah, and I would say to your point, Steve, white privilege is not white people.
No.
Right.
So I want to make sure we're clear. We're not just castigating white people as a whole or even individually. White privilege is it's a philosophy.
It is.
And it's also a spirit, in my opinion. So yeah, we're not coming for people as individuals or collectively, but the white privilege syndrome, it's something that actually it also infects some black people too.
It does.
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
How we hold them up on pedestals, and so I would suggest we're not coming for white people as an individual or as a collective. We're just talking about the concept.
But what we were before we move on to the next subject, and I think the basic premise of all of this was saying we was trying to arrive at the conclusion that why did he do this? And I know one reason over and over again because I had the evidence to prove that it was white privilege that made him feel like he can do that because listen, I promise you I wouldn't have done that.
No.
Out of respect for Mike Tyson because he Mike Tyson and what he meant, and he a brother.
You know what's
going disrespect, and I know what it is.
Hey Steve,
that's
we could even go a step further. We could take somebody that we see that's actually would be the bottom, and they still would not have done that.
No,
would not have done that. That had everything. Again, the culprit's always the same.
But I will say this too: not every white person would do that either.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Good. No, privilege.
It's a spirit,
right?
It's a spirit.
He had an agenda.
No question.
I'm not saying the spirit is good or bad either. I'm just saying the spirit can be activated and being used for whatever it is. Privilege is privilege. Everybody wants privilege. We got privilege, and it is what it is. But I want to talk about this for a second, man. Life is unexpected. That situation was unexpected.
It very much
Absolutely.
so was.
Oh my God, life is unexpected.
Yeah, Mike was not expecting that at all.
How do you manage the unexpected? Ivan, how do you reconcile that? Because, life is really just one unexpected time frame. You just going through life every day, then something happens. Then boom, something happens. You know what I mean? I'll say this though, but God uses the unexpected. The mystery
Absolutely.
and all of it. I'll tell you a little story, man. In my junior year, I was a running back, Greenwood High School. We just won a state championship year before. I was primed to be. I was right there. It was my show. I was the starter running back. I won the job, having a great game, having a great season. Caught a punt, ran it back for a touchdown. Caught another punt, made a cut. Boom! Somebody hit me in my knee. Now, prior to that, I worked. 8th grade, 7th grade, worked. Start doing this, working. Boom! I get to the place. And the unexpected happens. So, bam! I'm my junior year. At this point, I just come off a state championship run from a sophomore, starting in the basketball team and the football team. So my name is I'm about to hit it now. Boom, that stops me. So the season's over with. My knees messed up. I go into the basketball season. I'm not the same player. I come back my senior. Unexpected is a double-edged sword. Something bad might happen to you initially, but God is always working it out for your good.
Yeah.
So I moved positions to the wide receiver. And I was played running back my whole life. I have never played wide receiver. He figured out I can catch the ball. So I played that year. I ended up having a decent, good season, went to college, had a Hall of Fame career. So from that injury, if I would have stayed at running back, I probably would have never fulfilled my real potential as a football player. But I felt like I felt like I got everything I could out of that sport.
Gotcha.
And I've been so happy with my career since then, because I didn't leave nothing on the table. But because of the unexpected that happened, Ivan.
And you know, like the biggest problem with unexpected is we feel like we're the only person that's ever been there.
That's good, Ivan.
We feel like
good.
We feel like we're the only person that's ever had.
That's a real feeling, Ivan.
Actually experiencing it.
That's a real feeling.
And so, you know, we talked about this a week ago. That spirit of darkness, that spirit of depression, that spirit of being down, it's real.
It is.
And it's so hard for you to actually go to somebody else and actually open up and talk about it. Because you want to, you know, as young men, as young black men, we're always taught to, oh man, you gotta shake that off. You know what I mean? You gotta do this, you gotta walk this way. But it's okay to be vulnerable, but nobody taught us that it was okay.
No,
true.
And so because of that, we feel like we're the only person going through that. And the torment that goes on in the mind at that time, because it seems the darkest right in the middle. You can't see the exit. You can't see the exit. You can't see where that light at the end of the tunnel. And so that's a really, really tough place to actually be in, especially when it's something unexpected.
and that's the place of the confusion. Like,
Yes.
right, like so the start, then there's that middle, and then you no longer can see the end.
Yeah.
Because the confusion comes because you got to decide, do I want to keep going?
Yeah.
Because things keep happening in your life. Like you've made up in your mind. This is the deep surface. And this whole thing is 11 years in the making. Starting, stopping, starting. My middle was about 8 years. The middle.
It's called the wilderness.
Yeah.
The middle. This is what I've always wanted to do, but I couldn't get out the middle because life started happening. I started, we're a slave to our desires, correct? My desires, I started to be. Listen, when you can purchase your desires, you better be careful.
Keep the receipt.
When you can purchase your desires, you better be careful.
Yes.
Because you don't know how far they can take you off track. Because there's a certain level of maturity that has to happen when you reach your magnum opus in terms of like getting what you want versus what you need.
Yeah.
But see, what I needed, Ivan, was the pain. I was avoiding it.
Yeah.
I was running from it because see, that's what it really was.
There is no growth without pain.
We talked about it. It's not.
There is no growth without pain. Breaking through a shell is not easy.
Man, come on.
Starting that growth process to break through the earth is not easy. Then once you've broken through the earth, you got to be able to get enough oxygen and enough H2O in order for you to continue to keep growing.
I want some sunlight. Yeah.
See, and here's the thing, Keegan. So you got the unexpected here. The unexpected happens, and Keegan, in this process, you're wounded. Most times when an unexpected happens and it doesn't go your way, Keegan, you're wounded at this point. So when you're wounded, there's a healing process that happens.
Yeah.
There's a and that's the hard part, Keegan, because healing requires patience. It requires, in my opinion, a myriad of patience. But Keegan, I want to come to you for a second, man, because what are some tools we can use, man, that you've experienced in your life that helped you heal in certain situations? I want to go to you too as well, because healing is a process. Healing from trauma, healing from the unexpected things that you didn't expect to hit you, car accidents, somebody dying, somebody doing this, somebody doing that. You don't expect those things that happen, Keegan. How do we navigate this healing process?
So, in thinking about the concept of unexpected, I thought about my mother's death.
Come on.
She died when I was 15.
Rest in peace.
And that changed my entire life. And the tool you're talking about is faith.
Come on.
Let me explain what I mean by this. I can exercise it now because I have it and I understand it as a tool.
Come on.
Not just as a belief system, which it is for me. But when I was younger, I didn't have it, right? So I didn't know how to exercise that tool, even though I had it. But the concept of the unexpected event is a part of you being in your own bubble. Ooh. Because what you're thinking is, it's only unexpected because it's not the plan you had for yourself.
That's good.
But because God,
that's good.
But because God is ordaining your path and ordering your steps, and you're not of that particular mind, you don't know where He's taking you. So that's what I'm saying. Faith is the tool. It will allow you to walk down this path that you have no idea where you're going. But you know you have a covering. You have favor, He's going to take you there. But I will tell you that it's only unexpected because it's not a part of your plan.
That's good.
It's not a part of what
even
you
unto
was
death.
thinking.
Even death.
Even
that's
death.
the hardest thing, ain't it?
Yeah, even death.
Oh, God.
Or better yet, better yet, poor choice of words, but death of a loved one.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, not just yours, but death of a loved one.
Oh, yeah, when I'm going, it's over with for me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Exactly.
Unexpected or not, I'm out of it.
Yeah, self-esteem. So I would say to the people, utilize your faith not just as a belief system, but as a tool. Follow that path that God is taking you down, even though it might look a little difficult. Follow that path because I'm telling you, you have a covering, you got a hedge of protection, you have favor, and you have a power that dwells within you called the Holy Spirit that Paul wrote in Romans. The same power that raised Christ from the dead dwells within us.
And greater work shall you do.
You can navigate anything this life throws at you as long as you walk in faith. But you only are concerned about the unexpected because it's not a part of your plan.
And most times it's like that too.
Yeah. But that's I will say this about, that's where being athletic is very, very important in your life. Being able to pivot, how to navigate, how to say, okay, this right here is a problem. I got to figure out this is where having people around you.
Yes.
A circle of influence who you can lean on and trust, and to your point, Ivan, be vulnerable with to say, hey, look, bro, look, sis, I need some help with this because right now I was not prepared for this. Can you help me get over this hump?
And let me say this. You don't hold people accountable about what you tell them to do. You hold them accountable about what you do.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, yes, I agree with that.
Absolutely.
You can tell anybody to do anything you want them to do, Keegan. But holding people accountable is just about how you live in your life.
True.
Mm-hmm. It's simply by how you live in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Just to piggyback a little bit off of what Keegan said, it wasn't part of your plan. And that's when you have to go back and resort to history, but his story.
Come on, that's good.
Yeah.
Because we're not the author.
No, we're not.
Whether or not if you want to, hey, you're phenomenal, you're great, you're going to do some phenomenal things. But there's an author that's actually writing this out. And now you have to go and find other people that's the part about being vulnerable, other people that's actually gone through this situation to find out about their history.
Yeah.
And then understand how it lines up with his story.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, that's how you're going to get out of that dark point where it's going to allow you that healing to start taking place. Because a tree just growing doesn't grow right unless it's pruned.
That's facts.
But going through a pruning season means that you have to go through a healing season, correct?
Yeah, that's good.
That's true.
And so you got to be willing to actually pull back some layers, dig deeper into the things that you know around, and using some of the people and utilizing the people that are around you to actually get to the place where you actually
ultimately need to go. And that's why I brought up
go.
accountability, because the people around you, you show me, Coach Dula always said this, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a part of healing. See, the reason why I brought up accountability, because I know because of the way y'all live y'all life, I won't get up in the morning and take mine for granted. Because your spirit is walking with me.
Yeah.
Your spirit, even when you're not around me, your spirit is, because we're connected. Yeah. So I know I can't be out here doing no bull crap.
True.
Yeah.
Because now I represent you as a friend.
No question.
See, that's why if you stay focused on the main thing, as I talked about earlier, staying sharp, stay in the gym, stay working, staying dedicated to your craft, your spirit will be emboldened to spread itself with love. Yeah. And when it comes to people, and love, there's accountability in love, bro.
Yes, absolutely.
That means that I'm just not gonna do this because I know, even though I can do it, Ivan, my boy, and Ivan don't represent himself like this. So I'm not gonna put him in a position to compromise himself.
Yeah.
See, that's what it really is when you're not around. See, you can, whatever, Keegan, I don't judge you by what you do in my face. What do you say when I'm not around?
No doubt.
That's how you really represent me.
Yes.
That's how you really advocate for me. When I'm not in the room, when maybe I'll never find out. See, that's what it really is. Only you and your integrity know what you really think about me when I'm not around. But go ahead, Keegan.
I was just going to say, I read a quote today that said, when you're lazy, you disrespect those who believe in you.
Ooh.
And
that's good.
To your point,
wow.
Like, I'm never going to be in my BS because I know that if I get into a problem because of BS, I'm going to call Steven and need some help. He's going to be like, yo, how did that happen? Like, what did you do to create this situation? Yeah. You know, and here's, I will say this about this scenario right here. We believe that whenever we call our brother or sister 2 o'clock in the morning, it has to be a yes or you're not my friend. Sometimes the answer need to be no.
That's accountability too.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That could be love too. So you got to learn that what you've done to create the situation, you got to eat it.
Absolutely.
You got to.
You got to eat it sometimes.
Absolutely.
Now, we need to be there for you. You need to be there for us. We're going to be there for you. But sometimes you got to eat it so you can understand I ain't doing this ever again.
Let's dig a little deeper into healing.
This ever again.
Boundaries. Let's go. Let's add on to that.
Okay.
See, those are boundaries. Like, there are certain things I'm not, because I know what you, Keegan, you know I got a family and you got a family.
Yeah.
There are certain things I'm not doing. Boundaries, friendships, boundaries, and boundaries keep toxicity out of your bubble while you're healing.
It does,
because you're extra sensitive when you go through something, and you can't be talking with your friend who's still going through something. You need to get with somebody who's healed in that area.
Yeah,
you keep talking to people who's not healed in areas, you'll never get healed because you're going to perpetuate your victimhood.
You will.
You're gonna instead of fixing yourself, you're gonna keep laying. I've done it. I'm not speaking out of conjecture. This is facts.
Yeah.
I've done it. You talk to people who, listen. Well, misery loves what?
Company.
What do you think if I'm miserable? What do you think I'm going to find? Somebody who's happy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a human. It's a human condition. I'm not going to find. And I've done it before. I tried to. Listen, a lot of you bougie Negroes can clean it up, but we do the same thing.
Yeah.
We do the same thing if we going through something and we don't want to fix it yet.
It seems to make you feel better that you know that, oh man, well, they ain't got it together either. You know what I mean? It seems to make you feel better. What does that mean?
That's trauma. That's trauma bonding.
We have
that's trauma bonding.
That is. Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about earlier with the guy. That's a human issue we have. Like, I know we talked about our culture and the pride of being black and the white privilege and the whatever, we talk about, but it really comes down to a human issue that we have that, and we really feel that. Stop lying. When you see somebody and they ain't doing as good, you feel a little bit better. You're like, baby, since they ain't doing that good, it makes you feel better about your own detriment. We all do it, so we can stop lying about it. We can just totally be honest here at Deep Surface. We get jealous. We compare. It's human. We're born in sin and we're shaped into iniquity. In fact, God expects you to do these things you're doing.
Even though we understand that we shouldn't do, we're still humans at the end of the day.
We are
wrapped in flesh. And so it's easy to be to compare. It's like,
we're two. I believe we're two parts. There's a divine side to us, which is our spiritual nature, and then there's a human side.
Yeah.
And they're warring with each other all the time.
Yes.
They're fighting all the time. He can do this. You got the little example. They got devil on your shoulder right here and the angel on your shoulder right here.
Yeah.
But it's really your yin and your yang. It's really your two natures trying to fight against each other because they both just want to consume. Because when Eve and Adam, when they consumed it, you became the epitome of good and evil. So now, Keegan, it's inside of you. That's why you're born into sin and shaped in iniquity. Because everything your flesh wants is to consume, is to consume, is to consume. Is to get more.
Well, and it's just your spirit man fighting your flesh man.
It is.
That's all it is. That's all it is. But when you talk about, dealing with the unexpected of life, having those people around you to help you navigate it is so important.
It is.
We talk about it in business, like who's your team?
Come on,
having
that's good.
A CPA, a real estate agent, a good insurance agent. Like, who's your team personally? Like, who's those brothers and sisters you can call on when stuff goes right, who will give you truth in love?
Come on.
Who will give you truth
in love. That's good.
Right? You don't want to hear sometimes. So you call the person that will tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Right? You want to talk about, let's just complain. Let's just do that. Nah. Have somebody that's going to hold you accountable, push you to becoming better, and get you out of this particular rut. Because my old employer, Nationwide Insurance, when the slogan was, life comes at you fast. It happens all the time. You don't expect something to happen. They just happen, right? How do you handle? And I would tell you, if you're by yourself, it's difficult. You got a team around you, it can help you navigate.
It can.
Absolutely.
I would say definitely, when you talk about the tools, faith in having a good team is very important.
And
you talk about having boundaries as well about certain people.
Come on.
You got to have boundaries about, one, who you let in, and two, what you want to give.
Yes.
And I think the boundaries too, I will bring it back and project it back within myself. It's not about, it's about who you let into, but it's about protecting you from your own self, your own desires, the boundaries that, the stuff that you really want. No, don't go over there. You need to fast. You need to lose weight. You need to do this better. You need to be better, equipped at this. Like sometimes you got to save you from your own self. Yeah. But the bonus, you don't let nobody else in though, because you let them in, you fighting against your own spirit and you fighting against them.
But that's what you gotta have friends though who can hold you accountable to.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about boundaries.
No, because to your point, sometimes you're gonna look in the mirror, you're gonna justify.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about just
you need for say
you're the main component of the. I'm just talking about boundaries, and I mean that you're the main component of the boundaries you keep to keep your spirit, man, the purity that you're trying to portray. That's what I'm talking about.
I got you.
When you talking about friendship, man, before we get out of here, but having people, we talked about boundaries and healing, right? Healing is a process. It's not an event.
It is.
Yes.
You're not healed.
Yes.
You're not healed because you want to be healed. You heal because you do the work.
Right.
You heal because you go. Why were you wounded to begin with? What made you wounded? What brought you to this place? Are you willing to take the necessary steps? My motto in life right now, I got in trouble because I skipped steps.
Yeah.
We all
I didn't get in trouble because
again,
the
Steve.
unexpected happened.
We all
I
did.
got in trouble because I skipped steps. The little things. Doing the little things right. Trying to look over things that I know that was my fault that I did, but I didn't want to accept responsibility.
Yeah.
See, that's where when we get in that middle, like you talked about, Ivan, we can't see, when we can't navigate it, we make it. That's the time I made excuses. I didn't want, when you ready to be fully accountable, Keegan, you watch me through the process. When you ready to be fully accountable, that's when life changes.
That's fair.
Because see, really,
That's
the
fair.
trees don't change. My perspective of them does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing in life. These weights don't change. But now it's a podcast studio. It was a gym. We train sports with people. Well, what is it now? We use it for something different.
True.
It's how we look at it.
Perspective.
Perspective. The unexpected.
A perspective can just be as simple as growth.
Yeah.
Because a perspective can grow.
It can.
You could, because there's always multiple point of view.
It is.
Yeah. It can evolve.
Yeah.
It can. And I think we all should be ever evolving, always looking how we can get better as a society, as a people, challenging our own thinking. It's time to think differently. How do we solve our problems? Can we solve them differently, Keegan? Can we look at things from a different vantage point? Can we even our righteous foundational principles? Can we lay those aside and say, does those have any holes in them? Can we look at it? Because that's what it's going to take for the human race to evolve into what we can be, or AI going to take over.
And that's real.
You heard me say AI is going to take over because we're in conflict with each other, and that's the real. See, we are killing the earth from within inside because of our conflict, because we're fighting over oil, because we're fighting over tech, because we're fighting over capitalism, because we're fighting over all these different things that don't matter, that devolve us as people.
Come on,
we keep
that's good.
fighting over these things, and the earth is correcting itself. That's why you see it's cold outside, and it's what May. That's what I'm saying. The weather, the nature, Mother Nature, the universe will correct itself. It's happened throughout billions of years on this earth, and we doing it to each other right now as a society. We got to get better, man.
Were those things put on the inside of the earth for a reason?
Yes, everything was put here for a reason.
It wasn't necessarily there for, I mean, because I know we think everything's supposed to be a resource, but is everything supposed to be a resource? I mean, if everything was supposed to be a resource, why do we have so many different things going on with our environment?
Come on, global warming. I didn't even get into all that.
Yeah,
and get into all that.
And you know, the fact that you said AI is taking over, I was looking at a video today. It was Tony Robbins, famous motivational speaker, written a couple of books, you know, some New York Times bestsellers. And he was talking to a robot. And he was intentionally asking questions to try to trip the robot up. And one of the questions that he asked about the robot is, what would keep you from taking over as humans use you more? And it was like, oh, well, we'll do the jobs that humans don't want to do, the things that they consider to be dirty, the ones that are dangerous, you know, working with biochemicals and stuff like that. But then the very last answer that the robot gave is, well, humans have a false sense of freedom, and they're not really much different from robots. Now, this is your AI.
And that's real. I don't want to go deeper than that, but that's good.
And this is your AI that has evolved to a point that's actually already
She's gaining consciousness,
already recognizing that they don't feel different than human beings right now, and we don't even have a mainstream yet.
It's happening. All I'm saying is we have to, the way, before we end this, but the way we really keep our society and keep evolving is we got to work together. This is the main theme. All the stuff we talk about, I'm telling you right now, especially in the black community, if we do not galvanize, if we do not come together, tyranny is at hand. And I'm not talking about from the outside. We're going to rip each other to shreds. Mm-hmm. It's only so much online we can cannibalize each other. It's only so much you can compare. It's only so much competing for people to lose their. You're starting to see people everywhere lose their cool now. Mm-hmm. We need each other, or our children. All the work that happened in the civil rights movement in the 60s, in the 70s, even further back than that, all the things that they could not get, all the places they wanted to go, all the things they wanted. I want you to realize how bad it was for somebody to look at you and not even recognize your existence.
And Steve,
you're
that's
3/5 of a human, and they tell you they call you a boy when you're a grown man with a family.
Right. And they're trying to walk us right back to that place.
We're walking us right back to that place. What I'm saying is, it's up to us now. What I'm saying is,
absolutely,
I get,
absolutely.
They're always gonna be them.
Absolutely,
they're always gonna be them.
I follow you.
All I'm saying is that we can't undo the work that's been done. That's what I was born for. To tell you guys that I was clearly put on this earth for that, because there were sacrifices. God has showed me there were sacrifices that's been made throughout this entire world from black people, from our lineage, and specifically in America, and what they've been through for us to squander it because we can't get along with each other.
Yes,
I got you.
Absolutely.
Because you don't like the way another mother. I ain't gonna say it. That's out. We out. We out. This is Deep Surface Pod. You thought I was gonna do that, Franklin Saint? Close it. But listen, y'all better get right though. We all better get right. All of us. Yes. I'm serious, bro. All of us. All of us. We have a great opportunity right now to be better.
Yes.
That's simple. We have a great opportunity right now to be better. All we got to do is take advantage of it. Let's just support each other, man.
Yeah.
Let's support. This is what let's thrive and support each other. When we build this business, Keegan, let's make sure that everybody eats, B. Everybody eats.
Yeah.
And speaking of eating, I'm hungry. Y'all subscribe to the Deep Surface Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. And we outie.
Yeah,
Great podcast, fellas.